Hey everybody, it's Matabui with a big update video for Throne and Liberty. Today I'm talking about changes coming to the random dungeon finder queue system, the upcoming release of 2-star co-op dungeons, T2 gear, spoiler alert, it's not coming yet, as well as the possibility of world boss loot drops being added to the new 2-star co-op dungeons. Let's get started. A lot of the information I have here was obtained through the Throne and Liberty Discord server. It's a great resource for information, it's a good opportunity to become a better member of the Throne and Liberty community. I'm a member of it, you should be too. If you don't have an invite link, I've thrown one in the description for you now. So let's talk about the random dungeon finder system. This was a great addition to the game, but players very quickly found out that they could abuse it and exploit it to their advantage. If you've used the system before, you've probably had this happen many times where you join the party matchmaking, it pops up, disappears, over and over and over again like a 90s pop-up ad driving you crazy. It completely disables your UI, you're unable to do anything else until you accept or reject it. Most of the time it pops up and disappears so quickly, you're powerless to do anything. The reason this is happening is because someone that got paired with you in your party decided they didn't want to do the dungeon that you got queued for, left the queue, rejoined, so that kicks your party back out and back into the queue to rejoin looking for players again. That's why it pops up and disappears over and over and over again. That really defeats the purpose of a random dungeon finder system, doesn't it? We already have a party matchmaking board as well as a co-op dungeon finder. This is just exploiting and abusing the system. Game makers have heard that, here's what they've had to say. We understand the frustration caused by players repeatedly declining or leaving the queue for random dungeons. To address this issue, we will be implementing a rejoin timer and penalties for those who engage in this behavior. Our goal is to ensure a smoother and more enjoyable experience for all. I don't know what penalties they're talking about here because they're very vague with their answers. I think a rejoin timer is a fantastic idea, however. I've talked about this with my guildmates, I've talked about this with my friends. We all agree it's something that should have been added from the very beginning. Even a short 5-minute timer, doing it in 5-minute increments, I think that's enough that it would curb the abuse, it would curb this behavior a lot. If people really desperately wanted to leave the queue to find another dungeon, they're still able to without penalizing their gameplay too much, but it also incentivizes people to use the party matchmaking board or the co-op dungeon system, which we already have. Speaking about co-op dungeons, this whole game runs like a Dave & Buster's Chuck E. Cheese token style system, and that comes with dungeon run limitations. The game gives you 900 dimensional tokens per day. I was about to say abyss tokens for some reason, that's a whole other thing. It gives you 900 dimensional tokens per day. Each dungeon at the level cap of 50 costs 300 tokens to get your endgame loot. Let's do the quick math, that's 3 dungeons per day. For someone like me who's a dungeon grinder when I play MMORPG games, this is kind of a hindrance to me. I want to do dungeons. I don't want to grind on my own, I don't want to go questing. I would much rather be in a group with a bunch of other people, just grinding. I can't do that so much when I'm in the world dungeons because, again, Dave & Buster's, Chuck E. Cheese, you need tokens, you always run out faster than you'd like to. I never have enough Abyss tokens, and even when I stack them up, I'm only going to get an hour or two of gameplay out of that, and then I'm burnt out on Abyss tokens again, and I'm no longer getting any of the experience, Solent, or the drops from the world dungeons. They've heard what we've had to say, and I'm going to read to you what they say now, and then I'm going to provide you a little more information that they didn't give you. We hear your suggestions regarding increasing the number of daily dungeon runs or allowing for additional runs without consuming tokens after opening the reward chest. While we do not have plans to change this pattern for our standard co-op dungeons, we do have an additional style of co-op dungeon coming soon that will provide a more repeatable dungeon experience. Stay tuned over the coming weeks to learn more about when these changes will arrive for players. That doesn't give a whole lot of information, so your friend Matabui did a little bit more digging, and that's why I want to talk to you about the upcoming release of 2-star co-op dungeons. Based on the November content roadmap, this is something I'm watching, I'm always keeping an eye on things. 2-star co-op dungeons are already in the Korean version of the game. It looks like we're going to be getting these 2-star co-op dungeons in the global release of the game in the next couple of weeks. Match that up with what they've said in the Discord server, I think we're getting these at the end of November. Those 2-star co-op dungeons are going to include the Torture Chamber of Screams. I believe in the Korean version of the game, it's actually called the Screaming Torture Chamber. We're also going to get the Valley of Slaughter as well as the Void Wasteland. None of these are going to include Tier 2 content, which is in the Korean version of the game. However, they will be possibly adding world boss loot drops to these new co-op dungeons. That, I think, is an awesome idea. A casual player like myself, I have a family, I have a job, I have responsibilities. I can't dedicate my life 24/7 to the game like this, like some people can. I will never ever have an opportunity to get world boss loot drops. I'm not a big enough streamer. I'm not one of those people where I'm going to get 100 people on my server to just like kiss my ass and try to push me so that they can brag that they helped me do something. I'm not one of those people. I gotta earn it on my own, and unfortunately I'll never be able to with the way the system currently works. But with the addition of the World Boss loot drops to these new 2-star co-op dungeons, I have a real-world possibility of obtaining some of these. That's all the information I have for now. If I find out anything else, I'll let you know. Otherwise, November is going to be an exciting month. I'm really looking forward to these updates. It's been Matabui. Thanks for giving me some of your time today. Have fun out there.